Prepare yourself, Mr. and Mrs. Californian, because while I'll gladly find you a house to live in, I want to make sure you're aware of what you're getting yourselves into. I'm going to ease you into the weirdness, so take off your San Diego shades and put on your tie-dye t-shirt. I'm Nick Garcia, your favorite Austin realtor, and in today's video, I'm going to give you 31 weird facts you should know, especially if you're from California, before moving to Austin. Number 1, Austin City Limits, the country's longest running live music TV show, began broadcasting in 1974. A then unknown Willie Nelson was the featured performer. You may or may not know this, but Willie Nelson has been known to smoke a little grass. And I don't mean the burnt grass like your yard will be here in Austin in the hot summer months if you don't water it. Just watch out for those city water restrictions. Number 2, you might have Silicon Valley, but we have Silicon Hills. So many tech firms have come to Austin, have moved here. Austin now has the nickname Silicon Hills. IBM kicked things off in 1967, followed by Texas Instruments, Motorola, 3M, Dell Computers, and numerous others. Nowadays, Austin is one of the leading sites for venture capital funding in the nation. Most recently, Tesla announced it's moving its headquarters here, and it looks like Samsung might be opening up a new chip factory pretty soon. Number 3, every spring and summer, about 1.5 million Mexican free-tailed bats migrate to Austin, giving the city North America's largest urban bat colony. Every night, these bats emerge from under the Congress Avenue Bridge. Austin has the largest urban bat population of any city in the country. Rumor has it, Austin could be renamed Gotham City. Do you really want to live in the same city as Batman? Wait, never mind. Number 4, I'll find you a home with the fastest rate of devaluation you've ever seen, even more than your home near the San Andreas Fault. Beginning in 1989, local resident Vince Henneman began piling hubcaps, bicycle frames, bottles, CDs, air conditioning vents, and other pieces of scrap in his backyard. More than 20 years and numerous zoning disputes later, the Cathedral of Junk is still standing and open to visitors in South Austin. If you like living near celebrities, you'll hate it here. Celebrities usually only visit around here. Sandra Bullock, Ryan Gosling, Elijah Wood like making an appearance in Austin, and they might even have houses here. Led Zeppelin frontman Robert Plant has a house here and apparently likes to haggle cheese prices at the local Whole Foods. It's also the site of Matthew McConaughey's famous 1999 bongo drums arrest. Joe Rogan recently purchased a $14 million lakefront mansion. And who knows, you might be living next to Elon Musk in one of his tiny homes. Number 6, if you like eating out of your car, you'll love the food truck scene. Austin's food truck scene started in the early 90s with a few family-owned taco carts on South Lamar Street. The movement took off in the 2000s, and between 2006 and 2011, the number of mobile food vendor licenses tripled. Today, there are over 2,000 food trucks throughout the city. The pandemic has made a dent in that number, but they're still thriving, and as soon as this pandemic is behind us, we'll have more food trucks in the future. You remember Winnie the Pooh? I bet you have no clue where this is going. All right, I'll fill you in. On the last Saturday of April, thousands of Austinites come together for Eeyore's birthday party, named for the Winnie the Pooh's gloomy donkey friend. The gathering started in 1963 as a picnic for the English Department of Students at the University of Texas. Nowadays, a mix of costumes, live music, and general merriment makes it your best chance to see a drum circle composed of the Winnie the Pooh characters. My wife hates puns, so obviously puns are a regular at my house. Punny, right? Austin also hosts the O. Henry Pun Off World Championships, which draws pun-loving individuals from around the country. Contestants recite a pun-filled monologue in the punniest of show competition, then test their improv skills in the pun slinger portion. Number 9, Austin is the largest US city with no sports teams. It's not that we don't like sports, it's just we don't like professionals. And there won't ever be one if the who's who of University of Texas has anything to say about it. Go Bevo. Number 10, we might not have professional sports, but if you're into racing, Probably not. Austin is home to America's only Formula One race, the United States Grand Prix, held every year at the Circuit of the Americas, located in Southeast Austin. Built in 2012, the circuit is a 3.4-mile course notable for its elevation changes, including a 133-foot hill on turn 1. The good news, it's a good boost to the local Austin economy. Well, it used to be until the city of Austin decided to crack down on the evil short-term rentals. The bad news, for some reason, race weekends are also during UT football games, concerts, South by Southwest, ACL, and other major events in Austin. So whoever's planning this needs to work on that. Number 11, the city's unofficial slogan, Keep Austin Weird, originated with when local librarian Red Wassenich, who uttered the phrase when he called it to a local radio show in 2000. Since then, the slogan has become a fixture on bumper stickers, store signs, and elsewhere around town. The phrase's anti-gentrification message has also caught on in other cities like Louisville, Portland, and Indianapolis. There's a new saying making the rounds. Don't California my Texas. Hey, don't shoot the messenger. I especially love my Californians that use me as a real estate agent. I myself spend a month every summer in Lake Tahoe, California, so I can Texas up your California too. Number 12, the one person who embodied that slogan, Keep Austin Weird, for many Austinites was Leslie Cochran, a bearded, cross-dressing Miami native who ran for mayor 3 times. Frequently homeless, he was a fixture around town who inspired everything from refrigerator magnets to iPhone apps. When he died in 2012, Austin's mayor, at the time, Lee Leafingwell, proclaimed March 8th and every March 8th, Leslie Day. Rest in peace, Leslie. There's a new Leslie in town who goes by the name of Daisy, one of the best waiters at Kirby Lane off of South Lamar, one of my family's favorite brunch spots. All right, number 13. Ready for one that's partly your fault? Austin is the fastest growing city in the U.S., with a population spike of over 3% in the past year. Many Austinites are saying the rise in population is causing Austin to lose its character, except for realtors, of course. By the way, if you're looking for a home in Austin or you're ready to make other Austinites miserable, give me a call or text me at 512-799-7950. I know, shameless plug. Number 14, if you don't like tacos, you probably shouldn't move to Austin. Austin and tacos go hand in hand, and that's all I have to say about that. Number 15, we're almost halfway there. Austin has been ranked the #1 city in the U.S. for dogs and dog owners by the Pets at Home website. It's home to many off-leash parks, swimming holes, and tons of dog-friendly restaurants and hotels. Now, if you're a dog person, that may sound like great news. But if you don't fancy stepping on dog poop, unexpected dog licks, and Austinites putting dogs on a higher pedestal than people, then you may want to think twice about wagging your tail into Austin. Number 16, Austin really is the live music capital of the world. The slogan became official in 1991, and it was discovered that ATEX had more live music venues per capita than anywhere else. There are more than 1,900 bands and performing artists in the city, and nearly 200 live music videos around town. If you're moving here, I hope you like hot weather, because number 17 tells us that Austin is one of the sunniest cities in America, getting an average of about 300 clear sunny days a year. Number 18, you have your earthquakes, we have 10 extinct volcanoes. They used to be violent underwater volcanoes called explosion craters by geologists. Don't say I didn't warn you, one of these extinct volcanoes could come back to life. It's highly unlikely, but then again, Donald Trump was president and Hillary Clinton was second place, so anything can happen. Number 19, nerd alert, Austin boasts the highest annual bookstore sales in the United States at $195 per household. You might think that's a good thing, but if you think you're a know-it-all, wait until you play a game with an Austinite. Unless you're playing with a drunk Austinite, since number 20, Austin was recently rated one of the drunkest cities in America by Men's Health, mostly for its impressive/alarming ranking as 23rd in the nation for DUI crashes, 8th for DUI arrests, and 2nd for binge drinking. According to the poll, about 62% of residents has consumed at least one drink in the last 30 days. That doesn't seem much, but apparently it's more than any other city. Even Vegas. Wow. Whether it be a good or bad title depends on who you ask. We're still a fun and interesting city, and this is still a fun and unique fact about Austin, Texas that you should probably be aware of. Number 21, Austin has its own personal Bigfoot. His name is Hairy Man, and he lives, of course, on Hairy Man Road. Along those same weird lines, here's one that I just threw in recently during one of the recent mask mandates. My in-laws live across the street from this interesting statue that happened to have a mask on. The statue is off of Westlake Drive in Westlake Hills, one of the prettiest drives right near the lake in Austin. Number 22, in 1884, 3 years before Jack the Ripper began terrorizing the streets of London, Austin was the home of the first known serial killer in the world, called the Servant Girl Annihilator. Number 23, Austin has a popular food truck turned restaurant called Gordos. If you aren't familiar with the Spanish term gordo, it means overweight or fat. Not only that, but everyone's favorite item is called blue balls. Do with this information what you will. Number 24, after the tacos and fried donut restaurants, this may come as somewhat of a shock, but Austin likes to call and refer to itself as a fit city, which might have something to do with the 220 parks, running and bike trails, cycling, lakes like Austin and Travis, more than 250 gyms, yoga studios, healthy restaurants, and health food stores. Austin really does try to be a healthy and fit city, despite all the delicious food. Number 25, I'll have to be a little delicate with this one since my kids refer to my father-in-law as Grandpa Bevo. The UT mascot Bevo made his debut when the Aggies branded the mascot at the time 13-0. As the story goes, some Texas fans turned the 13 into a B, made a hyphen to look like an E, and inserted a V and left the O. Poor Bevo, we're now on Bevo number 14. Just one more Bevo fact. His owners say they spend more than $3,000 a year on food and maintenance. Number 26, there are no laws around here to stop women from going topless in public. However, no other city in the state has a place designated for nudity. Hippie Hollow is a clothing optional beach located on Lake Travis. Texas is generally a conservative state all in all, but Austin is pretty liberal. Number 27, you might cry a river after you hear about this next weird fact about Austin. The Colorado River runs through downtown. However, since the river is dammed, it's called Ladybug Lake. The name is in honor of Lady Bird Johnson, former First Lady of the United States, who was a resident of the city. Number 28, the area's historical tornado activity is 99% greater than the overall US average. An interesting, not so fun fact if you're planning on moving to Austin, Texas. However, don't be fooled or frightened by this fact. Even though tornado activity is 99% greater than the average, tornadoes are not very common. I've lived here about 12 years now, and I've only seen a few tornadoes that have touched down, and they weren't even in Austin city limits. Number 29, Austin welcomes nearly 20 million tourists each year according to the Austin Business Journal. That number exceeds Disneyland, which has about 16 million, the Eiffel Tower, which comes in about 7 million annually, 3/4 of which are foreigners, and Niagara Falls, which sees about 12 million people. Austin tourists aren't stingy with their money either. Visitors spend more than $5 billion each year. Number 30, have you heard about the traffic in Austin? If you're from LA or New York, you'll probably think Austin traffic is nothing. But everyone else is surprised to learn that the morning and evening commute might make or break your day. Number 31, I know I'm about to shoot myself in the foot because you're really going to want to move here. The median home value in Austin is about $540,000 right now. Home values have gone up over 30% in the last year. So I've tried my best to scare you away from moving to Austin, but if you're insistent and ready to come eat tacos and be weird, then call or text me at 512-799-7950 and I'll find you the perfect house. You bring the pre-approval letter and I'll bring the tacos.